Yeah, low cash. Yeah. I've been stepped on, left out, top out. I've been stepped on, left out, top out. Stepped on the beat, stepped on. Yeah, I've been stepped on, left out, top out. Homeboy got me shot for free. Do you know the feeling down bad? Block on certain shit. Remember watching Mojo Trips blow the youngest out that bitch. I was chubby, kinda ugly, with them dread poking out my shit. Quick to riot, that's how I can't got him. Shot came up with that shit. In that bottle, it was like fuck school.
I tell everybody, I enjoy my lifehood, my childhood, because I came from the bottom and I'm going to the top.
But I feel as though my life from growing up in the bottom made me a stronger woman as I got older. To look back and see, the things that went on, progress as I grew up in the bottom. Because, like I said, we were the house that everybody came to. Everybody, all the children. Sometimes people would drop their children off to mama. Mama might keep them for a whole week.
Oh, wow.
And we could say, Mama, when they come and get their children. But she was that type of lady that everybody wanted her to keep.
They trusted
their children, their children.
Right. So, what are some of the, I don't know if I should say obstacles or different challenges you said growing up in the bottom made you a stronger woman, made you the strong woman that you are today. What are some specific challenges or obstacles that you may have faced growing up in the bottom, or were there any?
There wasn't any for me, because I always was the type of child that I didn't talk back. No, my sister Faye. I was more of a, let me see the right word I want to say.
I know we're speaking of Faye, and if you don't mind me asking,
well, at least you're talking about your mama.
is she going to defend herself?
No,
this is her sister. Yes, I know.
No, Faye and I.
I can put you on speed.
No, you don't want. No, Faye was more stern than I was.
She's straightforward.
She's more straightforward than I was. I'm the more person laid back when I was younger. But as I gotten older, my mouth has changed.
So it was Faye probably that made you stronger.
Maybe so. But a lot of times Faye would say, girl, I won't let him do that to me. But me, it didn't bother me. But
she was standing up for you and somebody.
Yeah. Now like I said, we would fight every day, but we wouldn't let nobody fight each other.
Amen.
That's more. Yeah. I mean, we didn't fight every day, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But we'll fight each other. Yeah, but we always was tight, and you hit one, you got to hit the other.
I see you have a picture here. Would you like to share the picture?
This picture here is This picture here is me and my mother. We were in the bottom at the restaurant where I was about 7 or 8. I was about 7 or 8 right there, I think. Yeah.
So what memories does this picture bring?
It brings back a lot of memories, because we were in our little, what's that little sitting there, not sitting there, like during the summer when the Bible hand people come to town, she would feed them every day. That's where they would come for their lunch.
Right there, sir.
This is barbecue hole. Hashing it up. This is Boston butt. That was the bone right there. See that bone? See, you cut it off the bone. Hash him up.
Oh yes, sir.
I usually have. Get away, fly. I usually have more than this, but this what I had left in the freezer, and they used to keeping it in there. So I brought it down here to let everybody.
Absolutely. Let the
It's
people eat.
called Giving Back.
Called Giving Back.
Yeah.
I like that.
I am my brother keeper.
Woo!
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, what this say?
Motions, baby.
Look at that, Tom.
Play it.
Look at that, Tom.
Yes, sir. You should be on somebody's cooking show, man. Thank you.
Hey! These from that ride.
They got love for me.
Go ahead, baby.
Yes, sir. Hey, baby.
Okay, why you want to talk to me as soon as you put the cigarette in your mouth?
No, thank you. No, thank you. No chicken. No, I ain't chicken. Pork, though. I ain't pork. You want to watch it? You want to watch it tonight? Oh, okay. Let me yeah, let's order a pizza or something.
So wrong.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Oh, okay. Was this during the time that your family owned the tobacco farm?
I don't know whether they was from her father's side over there.
Back in that era, when the people came to put in tobacco, they came from other parts.
Yeah, they would come like something.
Oh, okay.
There's no local people.
There's no local people.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people got to North Margaret.
Yeah, that's how they came. They came, you know, from different. They come to work and just stay. Families.
Are there any other specific stories, memories that you or anybody else would like to share? Anything? Anybody?
Okay, this is a picture of me and Faye. See there? I got me and Faye.
Okay. Nice.
Me and Faye and Brenda. That's taken in the bottom in front of 4144.
who is this?
That's me. That's
Okay.
Brenda, and that's Faye.
And Brenda is.
Brenda is
She come from the house next
Next
door.
door.
the grand.
Okay.
yeah. She
She's,
was.
you know.
We wasn't cousins, but we grew up
You know
as
Chris
cousins.
Bromell?
Yes.
That's his mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We wasn't family, but we grew up.
Gotcha.
We grew up as family.
Oh wow. So where were we all here?
That was on a Easter Sunday,
Okay.
In front of the house.
right in front of 4144
Okay.
Maple Street.
The bottom.
The bottom.
So thinking back to what the bottom used to be and what it is now, what are your thoughts?
Oh, sad.
Feelings.
Sad. When I come home, because I live in Baltimore, and when I come home and ride through there, it tears my heart to pieces.
What about it? Tisha?
Because when we were down there, it wasn't nothing like it is now.
I mean, it's just so funny how this place has changed so much from when I was a kid to me being almost 50 now. I mean, you know, used to be
Talk about some
clubs.
of the changes.
Huh?
Talk about some of the changes.
I mean, it used to be, it's just, everything is going down. I mean, it used to be clubs, you know, lined up. I mean, always been. I remember when that was a restaurant and a hotel.
Oh, this place?
Yeah. I remember when they had like, they had a,
Miss Christine.
yeah, they had a hotel above there. People used to live up there on top, and the restaurant was on the bottom. There used to be a club here where the vacant lot is. Man, we packed. I just remember after a football game, how the cars would be lined up on both sides, down the railroad track, everything. And it was like seeing black businesses flourishing. And knowing what I know now about America and life, there's so many stories of black areas that flourish and then they don't flourish for some reason. Well, I mean, if you study history and you study things like I study, you know that, I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna give it to you raw.
Please.
My grandmother said something a long time ago. She said, son, one thing the white man hates, or well, a white man with a penny hates is a nigga with a nickel.
Woo!
And one thing I've always realized that no matter, because when they infiltrated and put crack into our community, this is what it turns out to be. Because there were several different businesses out here, several different people that made money back in the early 70s, 80s, 90s. There were restaurants. I mean, decent night spot. And one of the residents of my grandmother's house. Now it's a damn crack house.
Nothing. These young people, when I ride through and see them, we didn't have that when we were coming up. People hung in the bottom, but they didn't hang like they hanging now.
I tell you, look, they take this for a joke. I say, I don't care what you say.
That's why people need to read that black history.
The law, hey, that right there, you can't even do that in Tape City over there. They ain't gonna let you go on like that. The law not gonna let you do it. Look at it, yeah.
Lord,
that's what they
get
do.
Them out my face.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, that's what they do. Just straight up.
Baby, take that off me right now, because I'm saying something I ain't got no damn.
And right now, if you walk each and every one of them step by step.
You're having fun right now, but when
ask them a question,
get them out of my
they
face.
couldn't give you an answer.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
If you go there right now and walk with them step by step, and I walk with you, and you ask them a question, one-on-one, they couldn't give you an answer.
Frank, some of them ain't never open the Bible.
Man, I know that, Dr. Amen.
Some of them, if you say, oh, we going to John, some of them can't go in that content and open that Bible up. John right there, if it say John 15 or 20, that's where you go at. If you got to lick your finger and turn that page, that's where you go at.
I ain't gonna stop drinking, go we talk. What's wrong with you?
Do what you do, you're fine.
Yeah, you don't do that. But still, hey, see that? That's what they like to do right there. That's what they like to do.
I remember back in the day, she's not here, the young lady, Goffs, Clara, her grandfather and her grandmother, they had 18 or 19 kids.
The greats.
And they would bring them down there every Saturday evening. And they act like they had some sense.
And back then the bottom had to close at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, you had to close at 12. And those kids, they a little bit older than that. They much older than I am. But when they were down there with their parents, because the parents was in the shop drinking liquor, they was in the car. And they stayed in their car. Didn't they, Terry? Yeah. And then when their kids got older, they walked their kids down. And they knew when they pull up in that car, they knew to sit in their car till their parents come out of there.
You know, it's something I seen then that I don't see now.
Put them on your shoulder and do the dance by yourself.
I was thinking this little I was going to
You'd be surprised the kids I used to see down here with their parents back in the day, yo. Yeah. I mean, they wasn't abandoning their kids. You can't say that. Exactly. They wasn't abandoning their kids, you feel me? It's just they got an eye on their kids. Yeah, I respect that. They ain't leaving with anybody. That's abandoning your kids. Bring them with you. Buy them a Pepsi and some peanuts, you get your butt out of the party.
That's the best you can do.
Yeah, word. I done seen it. Huh?
That's the best you can do.
This gas,
why you gotta light it?
Back then, I don't care how many kids you had, if you was a street person, you took them kids with you, and them kids walked. When you stayed down at the bottom 6 hours, them kids were down there with you. Look like they wore out, beat down, but this is where I got to be. That's the sad part. women would bring their kids in the street with them, and if you stayed out there, how many hours you were there? I seen children walk behind their parents from work, because back then, they call it club bar hopping now. It wasn't no bar hopping back then. You just went to, it was so many clubs.
Yeah, cause
we was like a strip.
Yeah.
Because
Mr. Jim Bellman was around the corner. That was the club.
James White, you had White Castle around the corner.
Yeah.
So it was like, then I seen a lot of kids, they be like, they're so beat down, but the parents was determined to stay to the bottom to close. And now versus that, you got females, I have to give up hands up. They don't drag the kids in the street. I thought that was the worst thing you could ever do.
But they didn't have no babysitters.
No, so that means you need to stay home. That's what I told myself. See, my mama and my daddy was lucky. Every Saturday night, if I ain't see Lockham let them no more, I see them on, not Lock, it was Doug, Randy, Miranda, and Cecil. My mom and dad was hanging in the street at the time. When they came on Saturday nights, they bought a child up at a time. The children could walk up, but by the time they left the bottom, they had to tote one down at a time.
Yeah.
They had, because it was time to go home, but they brought them kids to my house. And Mom watched them until Essie and Lucky got ready to go home. And Essie tote one and Lucky tote one, and they come back and get another trip. That happened, but see, they didn't have them string them down, up and down the street like that.
So we're here today documenting the bottom, and we have here with us okay, Ann.
Carolyn Goff, Ann.
All right. We are doing a segment where we want to go back and dive into the deep history of the bottom, people who have deep roots. We've so far interviewed a couple of people, quite a few people who have more recent experiences in the bottom and who've been impacted by the bottom in recent years. But if you will share with us your first memory of the bottom, if you can.
Well, I'm not going to start off with the first, but I moved in the bottom when I was 6 months old, and that was December 1954. And I stayed in the bottom until I was 17 years old. So I was raised in the bottom. Okay. We was the bottom because my father had back then what they called it a juke joint. And we had the best corn liquor in the juke joint, in the bottom. And our juke joint was called Good Rockin'. And through the years, a lot of people always were there because my mom, she cooked. They had put back, they called chitlin struts. And my dad, I can recall my dad going to the lowest cost store and buying chitlins for 50 cents a set.
What's that look like today?
Today, chitlins are high. Back then, they were throwing them away. White people were throwing them away, but Daddy was buying them for 50 cents. And out of that 50 cents, he might have made $200 off of that one set of chitlins. Because we had to dig a hole and go in the back and clean the mess out of the chitlins. And one would clean and one would pour the water. And you scrub it, and then you had soak them for a few days. And we not only had a restaurant, we had a bar, which we, like I said, we had, juke joint. Then beside the bar, the juke joint, we had a barber shop, where Mr. Wilmore Sett's father worked there as when I was a little girl, and Mr. Purdy Graham. My father, he was a barber too. But I don't know whether Mr. Wilmore and Mr. Purdy had it like the daddy didn't have none.
And so would you like to speak to that? Do you know what his license?
Did he have license?
Yeah,
he had license. Mr. Wilmore, maybe that's why they had it, because Mr. Wilmore was on the license.
He was a legal person.
He was a legal person. He had his license. Then on the other side, we had a pool hall. We had a pool hall. So we had a pool hall. Our 4144 Maple Street was the jumpingest place in Lewis because we had it all. We were the only family that had a TV during that time when I was 5 or 6 years old. And everybody from off the hill would come, our classmates, John Brown, Clyde Brown, all of them, everybody was at our house, the Greats, because we were the only neighborhood that had a TV.
Oh, wow.
Until Daddy came home. Daddy came home, he ran all of them out. Go home to your mom.
Without your TV.
Without the TV, but back then I always thought we were poor. And I found we were the richest people in Lewis.
Oh, wow.
Because we had it all. And then we had love. Our parents, they showed a lot of love to us. Because I remember back in the day when Daddy was the only black man that could come down and go to the beach. Back then you couldn't cross, right here where we at, black people couldn't cross from right there.
And this
they had
is
a chain.
Atlantic Beach.
That's Atlantic Beach right there. If you got caught coming over here on this side black, they would lynch you. But Daddy could do it because Daddy was a plumber and an electrician.
What is your daddy's name?
Odell Goff, the late Odell Goff. And he used to bring us to the beach with him when he worked down here in these hotels. And he always would tell us, don't go across there without me, because y'all with me. So he used to bring y'all to the beach too, didn't he? Yeah, he was, my daddy only had a 6th grade education, but he was one of the most educated man
politician
in the body. Like I said, I came there when I was 6 months old. But the bottom is, we used to have it like the ones on the hill. They were jealous of us in the bottom, and we were jealous of them because they was across the track. You know what I'm saying? But they wasn't jealous, jealous that we found nothing.
Yeah.
But they always say, yeah, y'all got to go at the bottom. Y'all from the bottom.
Yeah, it's the curiosity.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah.
So you talked about the different businesses that you own. For people that don't really know the layout of the bottom, exactly where were the businesses?
Right across from Christine and Isaac Brown shop.
Okay, that's empty now.
Right there, it's empty now. But it used to be a 3 or 2
Used to
story.
be the Players Club.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's transitioned from.
Yeah, after Daddy moved, they moved to Bayberg in 1973. Huh? 73. In 73, that's when Daddy moved back to the country club. That's where we were originally from, is Bayberg.
Okay.
And he moved back and took his family back to Bayberg. And then Wayne had the shop for a minute.
It was the wine
It
shop.
used to be the wine shop. And then he sold it to the Livingston Brothers. And that's when they changed it to, what's the name of that club? Players Club. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it had a lot of identities over there.
Back then, that time, we wasn't the only shop there because Miss Sadie man, Mr. John was down to your right. Around the corner was Mr. Jim Bellamy.
Then you had John Powell on the corner.
No, not when I was
Not
coming
your
up.
era.
Not my era, no.
My area in the bottom, the atmosphere had changed in the bottom. By that time, the bottom started bringing, everybody started selling out, people started dying, you had these new people coming in, so you had different kind of clubs coming in.
All the clubs, Players, White Castle, Big John, Brown's back there, James White back there, Shorty, that was John Wheat. That was John Wheat. And then White Castle was around there, and then Mr. James White was right there. Yeah. And then where Tubby House at. And the barber shop always was right there. And then that used to be the cab stand too.
Oh yeah. The barber shop was the cab stand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff.
Barber shop used to be right here.
Which one?
It still got the building is
They
there.
did. You right.
It's a brown building
You
tore down.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the game out near barbershop right there.
Right. And the light skin lady just try to dance.
Yeah, with a light pole that used to be the brown building.
Right. You right. You right. You right.
Oh, okay. And
Right.
this was the barbershop?
Same right there, always.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Exactly right.
Grandpa club used to be right there.
And your granddaddy club used to be there.
Yeah, right there.
Right up in there.
Yeah. I used to be the driveway, you drive in, had an apartment complex back
They
here.
sure did. Sure did.
Yeah, upstairs.
And Brown's used to be upstairs too. You remember that, Flip?
I used to drive right back here.
I used to try to rent me a room, but hey, they always be filled up.
John Williams used to be the spot where you fight, ruin, shoot, whatever. You know that's
We didn't have no fighting and shooting in our place.
But then it wasn't no shooting. Everybody had a box cutter or a switchblade.
Yeah, I used to walk home.
You either fight with fists or you got stabbed or you got cut. It wasn't
So
no.
they were actually stabbings? Like,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't no gun shoot like it is now.
Yeah,
It's good memories and bad memories, but it's memories.
yeah.
And that's life.
Yep, that's anywhere, the bottom or downtown or uptown. Because my mom always says it's not where you come from. To make you good or bad is what you do within yourself.
I remember when we had to go out the bottom on rowboats. Because every time a storm come through, the bottom would flood out. The trash, the bottom was a mess. I know it was contaminated. You talk about COVID-19. It was COVID-19. Then back when I was in the probably first and second grade, third grade, somewhere along there, it was dirt. They didn't pave that bottom for a minute. Then they paved it, and that's when we started getting floods after they paved it. Before they paved it, we wasn't getting floods. I don't remember no floods.
It was lurking.
Trash was filling like bodies.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had to get rowboats to get us out of the bottom.
Out of there. Mm-hmm.
It would flood every time.
Every time.
How many people at a time?
Whoever stayed there, well, back then, you know, black people had no boats and stuff.
Yes.
I don't know who the boat
Where the boats come from?
Think about it, Crystal. I don't know where the boats come from. And Saturday nights, Christine in my era, on Fridays and Saturdays, the club closed at 12. You already know that before you leave the house. About 10 o'clock, you go across the street to Christine, put the little order in for your chicken sandwich, your chicken bowl.
Chicken bowl.
And you talk a lot of people waiting for their food.
Oh, yeah?
We go party because we know we got some food coming after you get through. So at that time, none of us had cars because I was staying in Lawrence. And we would walk home and we walking and eating, look around about 20 dogs following Harriet. We dropping the ball as we eat.
Christine and Isaac wasn't even there when I was coming up. Over that, where they place is, Mr. Rob Lewis used to live there. And I can tell you a story about Mr. Rob Lewis. Mr. Rob Lewis was the type of man, he was a very nosy man. Me and Faye would be upstairs fighting. Me and Faye used to fight every day. And Mr. Rob would walk across the street and come tell Mama, me and Faye up there fighting. Mama would come upstairs to meet us and make us hug and kiss before we go to bed. I ain't got to kiss Faye. But that was the love that she instilled in us. That you might not get along, but you're not going to be mad. Exactly. You're not going to be mad. So that was one thing. Then across over here was Miss Julia Carter. She lived there. She was the meanest woman in the block.
I keep hearing that.
So you know I'm not lying.
I mean, when you hear it so many times, you gotta believe it.
Play, because we had to play in the bottom, in the street, and we'd be out there playing ball. Of course, for some reason, our ball would go in her yard, and she would not give it back to us.
Yes, I've heard this story over and over again from different people.
She would not give it back to us. And I tell Faye right now, when I see Faye, I say, Faye, where my ball is? Next to Miss Julia was Mr. Rob Lewis. Yep, so he had the best fig tree. We used to steal his figs off his tree. I wasn't a thief, I just went over with them. Then,
The Grahams and the Jeffersons.
I'm coming across the road, on this side of Maple Street, Miss Sadie made Mr. John's shop. Then we had the Jeffersons.
No, hold on, you had the Lewis's first.
Oh, yes, right. The Lewis's was on the corner. Then Miss Sadie made Mr. John's shop. They served the same thing. We served chicken and chitlins and blase.
So was it a competition?
Miss Sadie Mae had the bottle steak and everything at 12 o'clock. That stew beef, whatever, she was a good cook.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was so much of a competition because it wasn't her competition. Because her and Mama, they were best of friends.
Okay.
Right there together. Then we had Mr. Jefferson. He was a nice old man. Him and his family, his grandsons, they was thieves.
Y'all probably heard They
were thieves, Kika and Tom.
He got dead. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
About 40 years.
Kika and Tom and girl, they was thieves. They would always try to break in our place and steal our corn liquor. Then we had Miss Essie Grant, where now Cheryl lives there, that house right across, I think it's right
Christine's.
Right across from Christine's there. Right next door to where they have these spaces. Yeah. So we grew up with her. And she was another one that always used to tell dirty lies on us.
Were they lies?
They were lies. I wish I could get Larry on the phone, my grandson.
One thing about that, Faye and Cobell, Faye was the one who be like, we being straight up. Our granddaddy, he was a mess. So when your children be people, if you don't have no, well, your granddaddy doing so and so. Okay, Faye was that child that was gonna be like, what?
Faye would say
so she was the person that would come back on, and Cobell would be like, okay, whatever. So people always told them that because they know they had too much mouth, and then they knew daddy girlfriend, so it was just like.
Talk about the transition of your, more specifically your dad.
Yeah.
Like, because he obviously was the one who took care of the family, and you talked about his moonshine business, his clubs, his, being an electrician. Like, tell us the transition of his life from moonshine king to.
Well, he went from moonshine king to end up being a great good pastor of what the name of the church Sean he is? Oh, but he started at the New Bethel
Chapel.
He used to be a pastor of the church, our family church.
Okay.
And then they moved him to another church.
And the family church was?
New Bethel.
Okay.
AME church in Bayboro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your dad was, like Eric mentioned, like a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, yeah.
Moonshine, he was club business, he was an electrician, and then ultimately a pastor.
Yep.
That's awesome.
He died as a pastor.
Yeah. So you must be very proud of him.
Yep. Proud of him.
And thankful for him.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Feeling like I'm famous. Loco, gotta make it there. Told me I could do it, so I did it. White lights, cameras. In my city now, in my city. Yeah. White lights are shining. White lights are shining. Shining down on my city. Shining down on my city. Lot of cameras are rolling. Lot of cameras are rolling. Watching me from a distance. Watching me from a distance. White lights are shining. White lights are shining. Shining down on my city. Shining down on my city. Now the cameras are rolling. Now the cameras are rolling. Watching me from a distance. Watching me from a distance. Never had nothing, not enough to give. Never had nothing, no, not enough to live. They say ballin' white still in the hood. They say he got it, that boy doing good. Rick Ross ballin' on him, make them boys
boys see the light, come through again on a mix so they see it twice. I just wanna see the light, the ones with the cameras on. Hope you get the picture right with your camera phone. Loco, you know I've been chilling in my own zone, trying to make $1 million before trap make it home. I can make it happen, success can come overnight. Watch me catch a miracle and take off like another flight. Third strike, do right, I catch another beer, homie. Money is everything, who don't want it? This is everything, I got everything on it. Losing ain't an option, I'm on it. The city with me. Bright lights are shining, bright lights are shining, shining down on my city, shining down on my city. Now the cameras are rolling, now the cameras are rolling, watching me from a distance, watching me from a distance.
Ain't that damn tough?
Bright lights are shining,
And then the goddamn board does it. People can't do that.
shining down on my city. Now the cameras are
Board does it. People can't do that. Look, black.
watching me from a distance, watching me
My time. Yo, what's the time, yo? I don't know, whatever, man. Whatever. I'm saying. Shit, you tell me the time before you get. Man, you put a price on your shit, man. Don't know whatever, motherfucker. Nah, serious.
Yeah.
I put my hand on the Bible and I swear to tell the truth. Everybody that I knew and everybody that was cool, everybody that's around don't really want you to go and get in that position that you supposed to. That's why I'm watching everybody now. I get close to, got them all waiting, trying to figure out my next move. How you making moves? Round the city high. Man, I'm making moves in a whole nother city high. Trying to take off and shine like the city lights bright, you know. So everybody see more food on the table, so everybody eat. The past is irrelevant, the future on me. If I fall, we fall. If I ball, we ball. I told y'all, but y'all ain't wanna listen. Now everybody see that this music is religion. Losing ain't an option, I'm winning. Loco, bright lights are shining, bright lights are shining,
Bright lights shining, y'all. We ain't going nowhere. They shining right here in the city. They gon' get to know we cameras rolling. I ain't gonna let us down, y'all. I got us.